Hello, I'm Jim Tolles. I'm a spiritual teacher. I blog regularly at spiritualawakeningprocess.com, and I offer free talks on this YouTube channel as well as these shorter little videos. Today, I wanted to answer the question, are you feeling spiritually stuck? To begin with, I think we want to look at the term stuck and to kind of investigate it. And really, this sort of self-inquiry is going to be kind of key for more than a few of you in terms of understanding, are you spiritually stuck? And what does that mean? Part of the spiritual path is a turning inwards. Go within. This is something I'm sure some of you have already heard many times. And in going within, we can start to investigate these feelings and these ideas like being stuck. Very often people are judging themselves against other people's beliefs, against social values. So many people are concerned if they don't get the romances that they want or the jobs that they want or find the purpose that they want. But most of that stuff really isn't our own. It really is something that was taught to us. And that in and of itself can get us stuck because we're stuck believing other things that aren't really true to us. So if we want to begin to investigate if we really are stuck, and if so, what that even means, we need to investigate our beliefs around that, around ourselves, around who we think we are, and what we think we want. There are three main types of people that I'm going to address as general examples. Obviously, there are many experiences people have on the spiritual path. One is the spiritual beginner. The other are the spiritual people who've been doing things with different tools, maybe within one focused religion or system, or maybe with many, because in this digital age we have access to many, many things. And the last will be those who've had spiritual awakenings. For the spiritual beginner, what I just mentioned around doing this investigation, learning to do inner work, is really important, because if we don't understand the rules that we're applying to ourselves, we're going to get ourselves very, very frustrated. And we're going to be kind of fighting ourselves and trying to make life conform to our ideas. And that doesn't work. That in and of itself continues the path of ego suffering. And the ego basically doesn't know what it is for most of our lives until we start to do this work. Maybe you've heard the term, or maybe this is the first time you've even heard that term. And when I use the word ego, I'm just basically talking about a set of preferences and beliefs and experiences that become the filter of how we see ourselves and how we see life. And all those preferences and beliefs and things like that are basically coming out of childhood. They were taught to us. We accepted them because we were children. We had no way of discerning. And we moved about our life going from this level of ignorance. But now, as we evolve and go further, we can start to look at this mechanism we created and take it apart. And that is really key to the beginner becoming unstuck. Just doing this work generally is going to get a lot of people unstuck, and it's going to confront them with different beliefs. And that will become the next phase. And that starts to lead us into the second group of people, because we generally keep moving along and developing and understanding and opening and becoming clearer and lighter and freer and more loving and humble and all that until we hit something we don't want to give up or we don't want to deal with. For many people who are intellectual, it's very easy for them to think and to have all these different ideas. But the minute you get into the heart of things, it's like, no, we're done. we're leaving this alone. And that's where the person's growth will stop. That's where they'll get stuck. And so many people get so frustrated because they're trying to keep thinking more and more and more and putting more and more ideas in their head, but it does not deal with a heart issue. And you can go the other way. The other way, where somebody's very happy to be in the hearts and be in the emotions, but when you ask them to start thinking about things, so much resistance comes up. Maybe a core issue like, I'm not smart enough. Right? This is a big core issue for a lot of people. I'm not smart enough. You're plenty smart enough to understand yourself. It's okay. You may not like some of the things that you discover, but even that dislike is an ego preference. It's something that was taught to you to believe in. And so here is this thing kind of trying to protect itself, this ego self that's saying, no, I don't want to look at that. I don't like that. I don't want to think that way. I don't want to feel that way. I don't want to deal with the body. The body is another level of transformation that is rather dense and doesn't necessarily change just because we have a heart opening or we have a realization in the mind. So for that second category of people, it really is, what are you avoiding? in a lot of instances. And then the last category, those people who've had an awakening. I'm very specific about how I use the term awakening. When I talk about it, I'm talking about when something internally is now moving independently on its own. And it does this 24/7. It doesn't stop when you aren't meditating. It keeps going. And that's very surprising because most people aren't prepared for a spiritual awakening. They're not prepared for an eruption of emotions, of sensations, of realizations, both enjoyable and not enjoyable. And that's part of the hallmark of a true awakening. It's not only is it moving through you on its own, it's just showing you the truth. So it's not always fun and enjoyment. And the truth is just seeing what is. And sometimes we have a lot of pain we have to see. And that's usually where people get stuck. There's plenty that can get stuck if they think that they're supposed to have just one blissful experience all the time, because that's not how it is. And they'll keep trying to grab back and they'll, oh, I lost something. I lost presence. I lost once you hear these things. But that idea is the stuck idea. That's the idea that doesn't understand the truth, that all experiences are transitory. And that as we come into oneness, we come into that stillness within ourselves. That's not even a feeling. It's just that space of awareness that notices when there's bliss, that it notices when we're sad, it notices when we're angry. It notices all the time, all the different experiences. It never rejects a single thing. And that's why I also call that a space of true love. And that space of true love is total surrender. The opposite and the reason that people get stuck is usually around resistance. That we see something that we don't like and we say, I can't handle that. I don't want to deal with it. I want it to go away, whatever it is. Or we try to fight it. We try to fight our way through all of our issues, and that doesn't work either. In fact, it starts to overstress our body in a lot of regards. So coming into surrender is such an important way to make it easier for those who are in awakening to just be with some of the sticking points. And sometimes things slow down, and slowing down is not stuck. Sometimes the lessons we learn are quiet ones that happen over time. And this applies for all three categories of people I'm talking to. And we have to be dedicated and diligent and resilient with the slow ones that are maybe not as exciting. And through that resilience and dedication, this kind of sloughing off of the ego continues. And as intense as the initial years of awakening can be, that too, for most people, really does start to slow down. And if we can have embraced that awakening so that we're slowing into kind of a natural flow, we'll keep flowing. It may not be as quick. Maybe it will speed up again and then slow down, right? It's life. Things move in their own way. And we want to learn to honor that. So part of the ultimate answer, I think, here is what you resist persists. So come back to surrender if you feel stuck. Go within and spend a little bit more time listening to what's arising, and do your best to trust whatever you find. Once again, my name is Jim Tolles. I'm a spiritual teacher. I also do one-on-one sessions, so if anyone's feeling stuck and would like some help, feel free to reach out. You can reach out to me through my blog, spiritualawakeningprocess.com. I have some links down below, as well as a donation link if you want to support this work. Thanks, and have a beautiful morning, day, or night, wherever you may be.